Stay tuned for the fact check. It's where the party's at.
Any issues, what do we call that?
Respiratory
issues?
I've been masking outside.
Uh-huh.
So I've been fine. I've had headaches, but other than that.
Yeah, headaches, same.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of COVID.
It's
me.
It's so COVID-y.
Yeah.
I was just editing our last fact check, which was
Sounds naive, probably.
Tuesday. Yeah. It was Wednesday morning. And so much has happened since then.
Oh, yeah.
130,000 people have evacuated.
Yeah.
There's something like 9,000 structures are decimated.
Yeah. I have to imagine it's going to be...
The toll at the end of this.
Yeah. You'd have to go back to the Chicago fires, probably.
Oh, they already said it's 8 times.
Sure. In today's dollars, right? Because Chicago disappeared.
Well, not dollars. Sorry. They're saying space.
Oh, space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that picture going around of Manhattan. It's like all of Manhattan is 14,000 acres.
Oh, really?
And like...
We're at what?
It's also crazy that I'm like, oh my God, yay. It's 3% contained. Like it's Friday and the Eaton fire is 3% contained, which is the first time I've seen any containment on it. The Eaton fire, the one that's on the east side of the city, is at 13,956 acres, and Palisades is 20,000.
20,000 acres in the Palisades. We have people staying with us as we had in COVID. And then, I went out yesterday with Delty in masks. And I was like, oh, this feels very familiar. There's like people living at the house.
Yes.
I'm in a mask outside. Oh my God, we're back here.
I know. When I was pulling out the masks, I was like, oh my God. I cannot believe I have to put this back on my face. The feelings are really wild around I still don't have power.
Still don't have power.
It's inconvenient. It's not bad compared to what's going on.
Yeah. We drove down to Hillhurst where there was like 25 crews working on all those power lines with trees all over them. I'm presuming that's why yours is out.
Yeah, it's right at my intersection.
Right.
So, but they've been working through the last 2 nights trying to get it back.
There was an army there for sure.
Yeah,
what feelings? There was a moment where, they had evacuated like a quarter mile down the road when the Runyon Canyon fire was going. And I was like, okay, so the west side's completely on fire. Now the center of the city's on fire and the east side's on fire. And I did start to open up my imagination to the degree where I was like, well, I would have said what has already happened would have been impossible. Like that for the Palisades to disappear. And then I was like, oh, fuck, if the Palisades can disappear, I'm like, could LA disappear? Like, will we witness the end of LA as it previously existed?
I know.
Yeah, that's never a thought I ever even considered was possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, with winds blowing 70 miles an hour, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
But then you click into whatever role you have in your group. So, then I go to, and Dresden was gone, and London was gone, and Hiroshima was gone, and Nagasaki was gone, and we are resilient, and it'll be back, and that's who we are, and trying to put some light at the tunnel for everyone in the house. Yeah, you just go through all these. Everyone just clicks into whatever role they have,
Yeah, it's been interesting for me because I'm by myself, and normally I'm not. And it has been weird to...
You've been invited over, we should say.
Yes, I have. I'm by myself, and so I have taken on all the roles.
Cheering yourself up, letting yourself get scared.
Yeah, I have to be scared. Like, I can't wait for somebody else to be like, okay, it's time to evacuate. Like, I have to decide. Mm-hmm. And I think normally I am in that sort of case, like I let I'll let somebody else make that decision. I think they're better at making that decision than me. But what do I take? At first I was like, I don't even know what you're supposed to take. Like the last time we talked, I was like, oh, I just put my passport in my medicine, which also that was crazy. I had 1 day left of seizure medication, and then my pharmacy was down because of the power. So I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do about that? And anyway, but then I really thought about it, and I was like, no, I gotta, like, I took all these photographs I have. There's this little, like, drawing Delta made. I put that in there. And then that was it. But I really was like, what matters here for real? Like, I probably have to go. Like, what really matters? Yeah. And it was those things. And it's just it's so heady to have to think about that. Like, what do you really need? What will you be, like, did you see the thing John Mayer posted? I thought it was so well articulated.
Oh, no, I didn't see.
It said this. He posted
What's funny is as people are saying things I'm remembering that didn't even cross my mind. Like, I didn't pack a passport.
You gotta get your passport. Kristen probably
All I packed was my journals, which I think I made. By the way, my journals take up the full size away bag.
Wow.
So in the midst of all this, I also was like, to see my journals in one spot, I was like, holy smokes, have I written a lot of... I had this weird little moment of like...
you should take your dad's, like something of your dad's probably.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff I should have packed, but I was just like...
it's panicky.
The written word... I have the memories, like, all the cute things my kids made me, they're all really, really important to me. But I have my kids, they're important to me. And so I kept telling the girls that I'm like, we'll try to get everything you care about. But also, guys, this is it. Us four can go anywhere and we have the thing we want.
Yeah. So John Mayer posted a picture and he said, "This is the most valuable thing I own. It's a folder of photos of my father spanning his life from being a baby, an educator, a husband, and a father. It's the only evidence of his life that will exist over time. These are the, quote, documents you read about people taking from their homes. When you hear someone say they've lost everything in a fire, this is much of that everything, if not all of it. Those who say they'll be okay still have their folders and their albums. Those who are inconsolable have lost them. Just behind the immeasurable loss of life is the loss of the proof of life. I don't practice prayer, but tonight I will say one for everyone who no longer has these items. It's not about the art and the collectibles. It's the photos, the letters, the class rings, the eyeglasses, and the things we keep to remind us that those we loved were here. May those who have lost so much find some semblance of hope and support from their family and friends. Stay safe, look out for yourself and for one another, and trust that humanity and all it entails, though sometimes hard to see, is alive and well. This is truly devastating." And I do think that's right. Like, it's like, oh, all this stuff is just stuff, but it is more than stuff. It's evidence of life.
Yeah.
It's really intense. There are weird things. Like, my friend was just saying that her friend's house is the only one standing. Like, how weird.
Yeah, and this, I'm naturally trying to govern what stuff we talk about, because I know some stuff it'll anger you, or it'll...
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you want to say, but I think we can. It's real. The reason I didn't come over, and I do really appreciate the offer, of course, but I think me and you aren't always the most compatible in these situations. We ignite each other's worst parts.
Well, we're so different. Mm-hmm. I mean,
but other people are different that I think I don't know. And same for me with you. Like, there's something specific about us that we get really worked up when the other person doesn't align.
Right.
And so I wasn't.
Although I will add, okay, yeah, I think that's a lot of that's true. But I'm not bothered by, I don't mind that you're as scared as you are. I'm not, right? Yeah. Like, I'm just naturally not. This is like, I'm like, oh yeah, this is all I think about. This is like the hypervigilance and all that. It's like, all right, yeah, it's here. It's time to get it's time to get down. And
Yeah.
so I'm like energized and I'm focused and I'm thinking and I got all the hoses out and I got the generator out and I got the extra gas out and I got the car filled up and like, you know, I'm engaged in all the things that I will do to help get through this thing. And so this was a thing I wasn't, it's like runs the risk of you being mad at me, but I was going to send them away, right? Like I was going to send Kristen and the girls to their dads. I'm definitely staying and hosing the house down. There's no way I'm not going to do that. Like I'm going to, I can sit in the middle of my yard. I'm not inside of a house burning. I can be on the outside of a house that's burning and not die. And I have a motorcycle to escape at any point.
Yeah.
So I very much was never leaving regardless in my mind. I was like, I'm going to definitely get my family out of here, but I'm definitely staying with hoses.
The Hansons did that. They hosed down their house when because there was one popped up in Studio City, like right by them.
A very suspicious one.
Yeah.
If that turns out, I mean, if it's not, my condolences.
Yeah.
If you had the audacity to try to fucking do some insurance fraud at the risk of setting up the rest of that area on fire, that's
You're
to
evil.
me, you need to be in jail time for that.
I agree.
Yeah.
The Sunset one that was really close to us.
Yeah.
And then this one in Studio City, like, felt really weird because the winds were pretty much done
it started
at that
inside
time.
their house too.
That
Most
the
importantly,
Studio City one did.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
But even the Runyon Canyon one felt weird. It was like, what?
Well, you have there's two things happening.
Yeah.
And that's another layer of this we'll get to. There are arsonists in the city.
Yeah.
They've set fires in, many of these fires we've had in LA are started by arsonists.
Right.
And so you have arsonists that already exist and they've got the perfect opportunity, right? Then you have people who do commit insurance fraud. They also pop up all the time. So you've there's easily two groups of bad actors in the mix of all this other shit.
Yeah, I mean, there were looters.
Well, and that's what I wanted to add. When I went, when it was a half mile from the house and it looked like, okay, it's coming here. I had gone up to the gas station at Sunset and doesn't matter. Very busy gas station. I wanted the truck to be full in case Belle had to drive it all the way to Vegas to Dad's or whatever. And I know the vibe. I've been in Detroit when the vibe's happening on Devil's Night. I know the vibe. I was at the gas station and I was like, oh yeah, there's like 20 young men out. There's dudes on dirt bikes that are not street legal. Like there's that air of like, they know too, no one's watching. There's a vibe of everyone that's supposed to be making sure there's law and order is distracted. And there was just this burble that I could feel from the other dudes. And I was like, okay, so we got the fire hazard, but also I'm now, for me, there's a significant, maybe even double-digit percentage people are coming into the house today. Other elements are now going to pop off because of all this other chaos.
Yeah, that tends to be the way it goes in these scenarios. So it's important to be prepared for all of it. It's so annoying because in the movie The Holiday, there's this like cutesy moment where Jack Black is meeting Kate Winslet and like it's like something like kind of gets in her eye and he picks it out of her eye and it's this like very rom-com-y moment. He's like, Santa Ana's. He's like explaining to her about the Santa Ana's and it's like really cute.
You'll never like be able to watch
cute.
that part
I can't
again.
watch that anymore. Can't watch it.
I will say for better or worse in life, I'm experiencing it, but I'm also kind of always looking at it from a little bit to the side of it in the very anthropological way. And my current fascination with this whole thing, and I've gotten to be a part of enough things now where I see this materialize. It's like, we're all so different. Yeah. And thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. If they're all like me, everyone's going to kill themselves. If they're all rendered immobile by fear, they're all going to die. And it really, there doesn't require any talk or coordination. It just immediately burbles up. Like we had Jackie, Joe, Anna, Joy, Kristen, the girls, myself in the house. And everyone just innately files into their role. Yeah. That they are biologically destined to be. And it's just really on display in a situation like this. Mm-hmm. It's why ADHD folks are imperative. Someone's got to go out and find the new fruit tree. And it's why leaders, while insufferable at times, that's their time. And they reassure people. And then the people who are like really scared, then at the other time in life, they're more compassionate and flexible and dialed in, and they're taking care of the needs, the emotional needs of this group of 100. And you just look at it's not an accident where we come in these archetypes.
Yeah,
it's like
totally.
we all have our different moments, and the reaction's just so visceral, like whether you're wired what way or not. Like I immediately text Ashton and said, "Are you guys up in Carpinteria?" Mm-hmm. Which was my assumption. The air is very clean up there. And he's like, "Absolutely not. I'm at my house with a hose."
Yeah, I saw it. There was a video of him hosing.
He went to the Palisades and hosed other people's
That's
houses in the
nice.
daytime. And then he's at his house. I hear what Charlie's doing. Everyone's doing. It's just really interesting. I find it incredibly interesting that we are all unique in this very complementary way where we function as a group.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
It's so great.
It is. Also, it gets problematic when you only surround yourself with like one type of person or people exactly like you, which is easy to do, but it is not, I mean, for many reasons, it is not best. Like you need a diverse group, you know, obviously not like, I mean, yes, racially, socioeconomically, skill-wise, you need a diverse group.
Yeah. We're at an uncomfortable transition phase in civilization as humans where it's like we're almost there and also we're not. It's like we can almost be our best benevolent self, but you still have Vladimir Putin on the planet. It's still a real person on the planet that's not operating in the way we're all trying to evolve to. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're not in the space age where we have like dominated all threats and can all just be
not
one
even
way.
Close. I mean, if anything, this was it's like we do live in this city of sparkles and money and status and fame, and it can burn down in a night. Like it is humbling, and
it is. And then even like the trajectory of crime, if you plot it from the 60s and 70s, you know, it's just gone like this.
Yeah.
But it's not gone. There's far less, thank God.
Yeah.
But there's still quite a few people right now that are very willing to take an opportunity like this. That's still a reality. We're not there, you know. It's like we're in a transition, and I think it's weirdly almost harder. Like back when it was barbarism, it was just like, okay, well, we got to rule with an iron fist, and you got to put down all this. And we move away from that as we should, and we're getting somewhere hopefully in the future where that's not even necessary. But it's like we're in this interesting phase where it's like it's not necessary, but then all of a sudden it is necessary, and then it isn't.
Yeah,
and it is.
It's wild.
The crickets made it though. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah,
that part's good.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We are supported by Allstate. Allstate partnered with Armchair Expert to be the presenting sponsor of this episode, so thank you, Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first.
Like, you know, to check if you have a full tank of gas before you go out on a road trip. You just know that.
Yes, or you know, to check yourself in the mirror to make sure there's nothing in your teeth first before you start recording a video ad.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Do I have anything in my teeth?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Like, you know, you have to check your breath before you have a first kiss.
Sure, cup and blow and sniff.
Also, you have to check to make sure your clothes aren't on inside out before you put them on. Oh. I do.
Or upside down. Check to see if there's some paste on your brush before you start brushing your teeth. Just simple things. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. This content is intended for audiences in the U.S. only. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Okay, couple facts. Okay, so for Jenny, Laird Hamilton's creamer.
Tell me about Laird Hamilton's creamer.
You asked if it was mushroom-based. It is mushroom-based. Clean plant-based alternative to your dairy and sugar coffee creamers. Made with reishi mushrooms.
Now, I could be wrong on the timeline of this, but I do think I'm right. I think mushrooms, fungi, was the first thing to sustain itself by eating other things.
That sounds right.
Like prior to that, you're just absorbing sun and everything's growing. And they invent consumption of other living beings. They're the first monsters.
Oh, gross. They look like it.
Yeah.
And they taste good. I like them.
There was in Mexico City on the menu, it wasn't a mushroom cobbler, but by God, it was something like that. There was a dessert on the menu that was mushrooms first.
Weird.
And Molly loves mushrooms.
Oh.
And I said, how much do you love mushrooms? Enough to get this mushroom dessert? And she said, absolutely not. So I'm wondering
she had tried it.
who orders the mushroom dessert.
Weird. Well, it's in this creamer. Maybe it's good.
The creamer's good. I've had Laird's creamer, and it's quite good.
Interesting. Okay, Bellevue. Bellevue came up again, which is interesting because it came up on Monday's episode with Josh Brolin. He said his aunt was at Bellevue.
Yeah.
It's a hospital in New York, oldest public hospital.
Can I ask where you first heard it? Because I'm pretty sure where I first heard that. Seinfeld, they would say it all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Of course, it's a punchline in comedy a lot. They're going to send someone to Bellevue.
Right.
And I think, obviously, they were all in New York making that. Or they were here making the show, but it's in New York.
Right.
And they're New Yorkers.
That's interesting. I don't know the first time I heard it, but Seinfeld wasn't my show.
Right.
I don't remember them saying it on Friends. But
they should have. They were in New York.
Missed opportunity. Jim Carrey, SNL, What is Love is funny.
It's funny.
Yeah. So check that out on YouTube.
You double checked it.
Yeah, I looked it up.
You checked that claim, and it is a fact. It's funny.
It's funny. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. We're also on YouTube.
We are on
YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. We're there.
You wouldn't know, but we're there.
People liked the clip.
The underwear clip.
People really liked the underwear clip.
I like the underwear clip.
Yeah.
I really like watching when you and I start laughing in that deep, genuine, where we can't really proceed. Kind of, you get incapacitated. You can't move or talk.
Why?
There's something so joyous about that.
It is. It is fun.
Like you're leaned over this, and I'm kind of just hiding from the camera. It's just really joyous.
Yeah.
What was the clip people liked?
The fact check clip of me daydreaming.
Oh my God, that was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
Really funny. People love that as well.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Oh, I think this is worth saying. When I was editing this, I sort of had the realization because my friend had hiccups at the time, chronic hiccups, which he sometimes gets, and you've also had, and we've talked about it. And someone sent you lollipops. What were they called again?
Hickey Pops.
Yeah. And
I got them again at Christmas, not nearly as long. Funny enough, that's when I got them the previous time. I might be allergic to them. I go too hard at Christmas and it gives me hiccups. And that's
when he had it.
Really?
Yeah.
I was scouring the house for the Hickey Pops and I couldn't find them. I was desperate for a Hickey Pop right before Christmas.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is when you're around someone who's constantly hiccuping and it's wild. Like it's really kind of scary and it won't stop. He was trying to do everything to get him to stop, and you'll do anything, you do. It's this other person was like, you have to like turn upside down and like do the drinking the water. And he was like, okay, he's like, you're trying everything. It's stupid. Like none of these things really are going to work for acid reflux.
You go to the ends of the earth to stop it.
You will, but we don't do it for our brains. We could be doing you'll do anything to stop hiccups, but anxiety and depression and these things that are
rumination.
Rumination. These are the real taxing things. We're just like, I guess I just have this.
I'll have to live with it.
Yeah. And you don't have to. You can do these things and it can help.
Yeah.
Body scans are great. Tara Brach. If you have Wondery Plus, you heard us do these facts already. And we tried to get through a part that it was very hard to get through with me saying Tara Brach.
It was kind of the underwear out of the pants again.
Yeah, it was. But Tara Brach is a great, she has a great podcast and a lot of great meditations, and she walks you through body scans, and it's helpful. I like it.
Right. And that doesn't mean go to an MRI and get your body scanned, because that's what I think of when I think of body scan.
No, it's a mental body scan.
Mental body scan.
Before bed is good.
Focus on your follicles of your hair, move down to the follicles of your eyebrows.
Yep.
What did you think of did you hear the joke about Timothy Chalamet? Also, have I told you how obsessed I am with him now?
No, I love him.
I love him so
Did you get to talk to him?
No, and I wanted to so bad.
You're talking about at the Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes, he was there, and I had just watched Lady Bird and Little Women.
I forgot he was in Lady Bird.
Yes.
Oh my God. I forgot. Yeah, I'm like... he's in the new Leonardo DiCaprio.
It took me back to like Johnny Depp, where I was like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, there's something really powerful about Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Chalamet. Yeah.
So
he's in Call Me By Your Name.
I haven't seen that.
Oh my God.
I need to see it.
Revelation.
Now that I'm on the Chalamet train.
Yeah, Chalamet.
I'll get his name one day.
Yeah.
By the way, if I mix up your name and you're offended, I hope this bolsters well to the fact that like I'm obsessed with this kid and I can't say his name. But there was a joke about him at the Globes.
About his mustache, right?
Said he has the most beautiful long eyelashes above his lip.
I know.
And I felt very defensive of him.
Okay. So actually, I've been wanting...
It's a good joke. Let me just say it's a good joke.
Okay. I've actually been wanting to talk about this, but obviously the fires and it did not take precedent. Trivial. But I have a lot of thoughts.
Ooh, I would love to hear them.
About these types of jokes.
Roasting in general is one topic.
Is one thing. Yeah. And then this is adjacent.
But people who go to a roast have agreed to go to a roast.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, why do we still do it? Why are we doing this? Why are we roasting? It is so...
Well...
It's hard to have this conversation because I sound like very Pollyanna or like I'm so against meanness.
Yeah.
I don't mean to come off like that, but like I do, it's true. Why be mean as a job?
I can see it from all the angles, right?
Yeah.
So one is the people making fun of the other people would say they're punching up.
I know.
Okay, that's kind of like the blanket excuse. Well, you're punching up. You're not making fun of some disenfranchised person. You're making fun of a very rich movie star.
Yeah.
Valid point.
That's fine. Yeah, sure.
Valid.
I can,
Totally valid. People really deeply enjoy watching their heroes have to get humbled a little bit by a joke. So for the audience, it's deeply satisfying. Like they enjoy the hell out of it. At the end of the day, putting on this entertainment show that's 26 hours long.
Yeah.
And it's presumably for the audience that's watching. Then it gets into this really fun thing, and I will not out this person, but I'm really good friends with someone that was nominated for one of the big awards. And we had this long text exchange, and he is like, I can't believe I go to these. I don't want to go anymore. The notion that the entire thing is to slake our ego's desire by making us compete so that ultimately someone else can sell a show to America for millions of dollars, that those people are smart enough to know that our egos will get us there to that room so that we can be made fun of. The Golden Globes is run by the Hollywood Foreign Press. It's these single people who have left their country to come to Hollywood to report on Hollywood goings-ons back in their home country. And it's very few people. It's not like the Academy Awards where it's like thousands of people who are peers and experts in the trade. Of all the things, it's funny, that's the one that broke through as being second only to the Oscars.
I know, it's true.
And so my friend was like lamenting of how tricky it is. Like he doesn't want to be there. He thinks the whole thing's a scam and that the people are making a ton of money on the vanity of these people. And yet kind of has to do it because it helps promote the movie that he's in and potentially makes the movie more successful, which is what everyone would want.
Point, yeah.
So you get this like really catch-22 situation. And I will say, And people will rightly accuse me of going, you're just saying this because you're left out of it. But I don't feel that way. The time for this has come and gone.
Yeah, I agree.
It feels very weird and outdated and tone deaf and weird. It's starting to feel weirder and weirder and weirder. I was like, what is going on right here? Now you get into the whole roasting thing. Because I was watching, I was like, I get it, punching up.
I like Nikki Glazer. I like her.
She's great. She's really, really funny. I'll just say, she's really, really funny. And I have no ill will towards her. My personal experience is I bump into Jesse Eisenberg getting a Diet Coke. And he said, did you see we were in the New York Times yesterday, you and I? Apparently, Nikki had 2 jokes about you and I that were too gnarly for ABC or whatever network it was on. So I sit down at my seat.
You knew that while you were sitting there.
Knowing she had some joke about me that was too bad to be aired. So I'm watching the monologue going, I'm expecting there's some shot that there's a joke coming my way. Maybe the one she wanted got rejected, but maybe she retooled it or something. So I'm just kind of waiting to get blasted. And I'm like trying to think like, okay, what's the ideal reaction to getting completely skewered? I'm meaner than her in my own head.
Right.
I'm like, she's going to start saying that I'm only there because of Kristen. I'm filling in all the worst blanks, like the loser boyfriend who's here, the way she made fun of Benny Blanco.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's coming. And I have to play a role where I think it's hilarious.
Were you going to laugh?
Because I don't, what else could you do?
That's nice. No, some people don't. They
don't. I didn't get to see Timmy's reaction.
He did it. He
did a good job.
He played along.
You got no option. You got to act like you have
I think it's nice to play along, but I also, I thought that when Joe Coy did his thing, no one played along except Bradley. And I thought that was very big of him.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking oh, wow, good for him. He's playing along. No one else is doing this. But
I think that's the only move.
Get it. But I get it. You're like, why do I have to pretend this is funny? You're making fun of me.
Yes, in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm insecure like everyone else here. We're all insecure. You all think that we got secure somehow because we got invited. No, everyone here is super insecure. And then I find on the other side of that, this great compassion for Nikki, which is like, we'll invite you if you shit on everyone. And now if she wants to be on TV in that big of an audience,
and gain all her
she
own
has to shit on all these people that she probably likes and would like to be endeared to and be friends with, just like all of us would be.
Yeah.
So I'm like, everyone's losing in this scenario. I don't think Nikki only wants to be invited to the party if her responsibility is to come shit on everyone.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone likes the being shit on.
Yeah.
The audience is winning, I guess.
Are
That's
they?
fair. Yeah, there's no way they're not. That's fun. They're loving seeing the elite people get taken down a peg because we all enjoy that.
I don't. I'm not, again, not to sound like I'm above everyone, but I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I cannot relate to being happy that bad things are happening, even to people who are obviously doing great and doing much better. Why would I want bad things to happen to people?
Yes.
I don't get that.
And then I'm taking some personal inventory during all this. I mean, my head was on fire during the whole monologue, right? Because again, I'm expecting something really embarrassing to come my way.
Do you know what it was? I do.
Well, I'll get to that part of it. So then I start taking a personal inventory. I go, hold on, how judgmental can you be of all this? Have you done this? I have. I've been on Conan. I had a movie coming out that I made that was up against Expendables. And I had a good time talking about that their fight scenes, they move less and less. And I'm thinking, they would never hear this.
Right.
It's objectively funny. Like what I'm saying is funny is this is an action movie where everyone fights like within a 1 foot thing.
Yeah.
And so I've done it.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it. And then I go, okay, so what's some compassion I have for myself, which is like, I'm scared my movie's about to get blasted by these legends, which it did. I don't know what else to do. Trying to be funny, trying to make them happy. And I go, yeah. This is the whole situation.
that's
so I'm not
generous.
in judgment of anyone. I'm not looking forward to getting blasted in front of all these people. So the monologue ends, and somehow I made it out of it, right? And so did Jesse Eisenberg. We were spared. And then Aaron, of all people, my best friend, who I love, who I've told, when you hear something terrible about me, don't tell me. But I understand, like, you feel this responsibility to your best friend, like you should know what. So I'm on Instagram and look at my DM, and I see a clip of Nikki on Howard Stern the following day. And then Aaron says, rude. And then I wrote, I'm not going to watch this. I bet it will just hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And I leave it at that. And I decide I am not going to watch it. And then in the comments, tons of people in the comments are like, do you see Nikki's joke about you? So I've made the decision I'm not going to. But you have to know that I have created 10 or 12 jokes that it might be, and they're so hurtful.
Listen.
They're so
It's not that bad.
It's nothing. Well, listen, I ended up.
Oh.
I'm also telling Kristen this, right? I'm like, I guess, she was bummed she didn't get to make the joke. So she went on Stern and made the joke. And I just hope I never see it. I even wrote that in some comments. I'm like, no, I haven't seen that and I hope never to see it.
Yeah.
And then last night, Kristen comes in and she goes, I watched the Nikki joke. It's nothing. All she said is all these people in the room are trying to probably avoid you so you don't ask them to come on your podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, that's nothing. The things I thought of
I know
that she could have said about me and were on the table, and they're these very deep fears of people thinking I'm riding someone's coattails and stuff. I filled in so much. So at the end of the day, it was good I heard what it was, because I had assumed it was way, way worse.
Yes.
And all of it is this crazy ride we're all on for almost no reason at all.
So unnecessary. I don't know. Before the show started, I was like very skeptical of what the monologue was going to be. I don't like mean jokes for no reason. She is funny. Like
She's really
funny. And there were a couple jokes. Yeah. And there were a couple that I thought were so good. Mm-hmm. The 2 fingers up for baby girl. For me, the best one was, celebrities can do anything. Except get the country to vote a certain way. That was so good. Yeah. Like making fun of the group, the institution is good, but it's the singling out.
And there's a fucking close up on the person that's about to get shit on.
And you see them, their eyes are so wide. Like Selena Gomez, like she was just like, I was like, oh, this is so upsetting.
I don't say, why do you have to agree to that part of it? Like, hey, we got this award for you, but by the way, you're going to have to probably be in a close up getting shit on to get this award. And I think that's why this friend is like, why on earth are we doing this?
Yeah, I know.
Because they have turned to that. I think Gervais started it.
Yeah,
like real
I know.
Hardcore.
It did not used to be this crazy. But anyway, so I already was going in, Jess loves Nikki.
Yeah.
He's been following her for years. He thinks she's great and was really excited to see it. And we had a lot of conversations before where it's triggering for me. I don't like it. Yeah. And then she was on a Vogue podcast before she went on, and she said she doesn't like she can't really take the jokes about her. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, what is this?
Who's winning?
Anyway, so then she did it. We all watched it together, and I was kind of like, I think she is very talented.
Yeah.
But that's hard for me to watch, minus those more global jokes. And then the next day, someone sent it to me, the Howard thing. And we were already sort of in a thing. Me and you were already sort of in a thing that day.
Yeah.
Someone was like, did you see the joke about Dax? And I was like, what? And then I watched it, and I also was like so scared it was going to be so mean.
Yeah, about my looks and why is she with me?
I didn't know what it could be, but I was just like, this is going to be bad. And then it wasn't. And then I too was like, oh, that's really not a big deal. Also, it's not true. And I said, oh my God, I hope he never sees this because he already doesn't ask anyone.
Right. I certainly would never ask anyone at an award show.
And it's really fucking annoying. But it's annoying that you don't. Like, it's to a fault. And I was like, if he sees this, he's never going to ask anyone ever again to come on. And that's hard. That's bad for us.
And this goes to, by the way, this really goes to demonstrate for me personally, if you have an insecurity about something, it hurts so bad. Like had she made fun of my looks and then I'm too ugly to be with Kristen, that would have really been hurtful. I didn't give a fuck about that because what did happen at the Golden Globes, the only time the podcast came up at the Golden Globes is 3 different people I ran into, each said, that's my favorite interview I've ever done in my life. All that really happened was people pulled me aside to say it was their favorite interview they've ever done. I was like, I felt great. So she could say anything she would want about that, and it doesn't bother me.
I sent it to Jess, and I said, cool, period. And he was like, he was like, no, I get it. He was like, I get it. It's funny until it's you. And I was like, exactly. That's the whole thing. And so, anyway, but that was that, I guess. But we're
perfectly aligned.
Very defensive. Maybe I'm extra sensitive to it because I think there's already too much hatred out there right now, or in the last at least like 8 to 12 years.
Do you think it's symptomatic of this?
I don't think it's symptomatic.
Larger diminishing of civility.
I don't think it's symptomatic. I think it runs the risk of making it worse. I'm like, it's already bad. Like, don't add meanness. Like, it's not a good time for that. It's a time to add kindness. And I understand that's not like fun for an award show. Yeah. But I don't. It sucks out there. Like people are so mean to each other. And even this with the fires, like people are saying such horrible stuff.
Are they?
The rich people, they have other homes they can go to. Fuck you.
Oh, I was thinking like, if you're, I said it out loud when I was like, when there was the moment I was like, wow, could the whole city completely be razed right now? I was like, yeah, there's some people down south
that are excited.
That are like, fuck that place.
I think it's extreme to have these thoughts, but
it's like the liberals were happy when COVID deniers died of COVID. That happened too.
Right, exactly. But also to me, that's slightly different because those are choices. These aren't choices. Like I think, that's still bad.
Well, they'd go, you had to live in this fancy place. You could have lived somewhere that doesn't catch on fire every 6 months.
But then there's hurricanes, there's this, there's that. But I guess that's my whole point is maybe some people here would be like, well, hurricanes, like, I guess I don't really care about you, Florida. But it's all bad. It's like, it's all bad. Everyone should have compassion and help. And most people do. I mean, I've gotten so many sweet, like, check-ins, random check-ins. Yeah. And also, like, where can I donate? Yeah. What do you know, like, on the ground here? What's going on? Whatever. It's very kind, mostly. But then there's just people who I'm just shocked by.
I have to mention, if you were, like, to the letter of the law, creationists, believe in end of times, Christian, this is so biblical.
I know.
How are they not going like, other than a flood, this would be the next best thing?
Well, I guess that was another thing people were saying, like the Globes joke about God Zero, which that was hilarious.
I didn't see
Mario Lopez, it was the count of who people had thanked.
Oh, yeah. Moms.
Yeah, it was like, Mario Lopez won, God Zero.
Yes.
And
that was funny.
Hilarious. Yeah. And then people were like, see, that happened. And now it's like, God's mad that no one thanked him at
he's very sensitive. He's like me.
Oh my God.
You think he would not be sensitive? He's so powerful, but he's very sensitive, just like me. He's very vain.
Oh, Jesus.
He's afraid people are going to attack his looks. His social standing.
Well, it's hard to be made fun of. It's hard to be made fun of. It just is. Anyway.
Well, that was actually a very fun detour.
Yeah. And that's it for Jenny.
That was it for Jenny.
Yeah.
I do want to go out saying, like, I would not want anyone to hear all my opinions I just said and have anything against Nikki Glazer. I'm like rooting for her, and I think she's really
generous
talented.
Of you, and I agreed.
I was unpunked. Like, it was like, let's get celebrities in a tricky situation and see if they act badly. And I was like, okay, well, this is the only job I'm ever going to get, and I'll take it.
Right.
So I'm not really in judgment of anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just... I'm saying for me, I was in deep fear that everything I'm afraid people think about me was confirmed, and then it wasn't.
And she's also She's a Swiftie. She's a major Swiftie.
Oh, is she?
She went to like a million of the shows.
Oh, really?
And she's sober.
Oh, she is? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We should maybe have her on and talk through this whole thing.
I was like
at first I was like, I never want to reward her.
That's how when I saw it, I was like, guess who's not coming on our show ever?
Yes, but then now I feel like the bigger version of me would be like to have her on, try to have a sincere conversation about it.
Yeah, well, we could. Anyway, all right.
All right, love you.
Love you.